Hey everyone, welcome to our Blubrry Podcast AI Assistant webinar. And what we're going to do today is we're going to walk through the planning, production, and creating a newsletter, email, along with some clips as well. So everything we're doing today is live. I have prepped just a little bit. The assumption as we go into this today is that you have, and the first piece of this is that you're planning to do your episode. But when you first time that you use the Blubrry Podcast AI Assistant and you hit the start planning button, we have you create a show profile. That'll be the first thing that'll actually show up. And the show profile is basically we use this as a base for information that we'll use as we go through the planning and production process. So it's important to have this filled out to the best of your ability. And we really want you to focus on getting your host information in correctly, your co-host, also your goal of your show, your description, along with information about your website. You can see in here we've actually missed something. We didn't get in our actual website. So we need to have that entered because that data will be carried over into the final stage. And we've also got information in here that we use in the email creation to be able to help you promote your episode. So this show profile is really a set it and forget it. Once you get it done, you're good. And some people have asked us already, this desired audience. You can set this as wide or as narrow as you want at this point. We're not using a lot of this data yet. As the AI gets smarter over time, we'll bring more of the information you have in your show profile into creating more dynamic questions that are really targeted towards your desired audience. So, but yeah, set that up and get it in. Of course, here at Blubrry, I think we want everyone, including folks that are under 18. So I can click that and save that show profile. But to start this off, and what I've done here is I've pre-filled out an episode plan. And just full disclosure here, we have used an episode that we have published but not run through the AI before. So on our last episode of Podcast Insider, we talked about Blubrry widgets. So we talk in normal life, you're going to put this together that you're going to be talking about certain topics or whatever you're going to be discussing. Your episode topic section is really important in that you really lay out what this episode is going to be about. If you're going to be interviewing someone, if you're going to be talking about specific topics and list those topics explicitly there. Then if you have sources to the topics you're going to be covered, go ahead and enter that. Some keywords, in our case, widgets, podcast, podroll, trailer, value for value, and a guest optional here is Adam Curry. Now, we didn't have Adam as a guest, but what we wanted to show you when we generate the plan, what would happen as if you were having a guest. And I have a link to Adam's LinkedIn profile along with his bio. So at this point, we've already saved the plan, and what we're going to do is we're going to start the first phase of generating an episode plan. So we'll go ahead and click generate. And what the AI is now doing is looking at stuff from the show profile, and it's coming up with episode topics. You see that it's already come up with 10 topics, and I've got the ability to regenerate these 2 times. So I can go enter to VidToPod, future podcasting, embedding content with Blubrry tools, insights on the podroll, the widgets. Now I'm going to go ahead and refresh one more time here, and we'll see what we get when that comes back. So you can see it saved the previous topics, and I've got some new ones here. Not a lot of new stuff, but you can also add your own topic. Let's talk about Adam's career. See if I can type this right. At MTV, we can actually put that in there and we can select that as a question. Now, what will happen next is as soon as I hit next, is the system is generating potential guest questions from the guest bio and the topics that we're going to be covering. So we'll let the AI do this. And every time the generation is happening, we are basically going out and using our internal data and the data that you have suggested. So here we can see some, can you share inspiration between podcasting 2.0? Talk about how he sees widgets impacting listener engagement. How does podcasting address common challenges? Having explained the value for value model. And again, maybe these are things that you would think would be obvious, but this is really designed to help you have a better show. And again, you can add your own questions to the stack if you so desire. Now that we've selected, we've put together an episode plan, we've gotten topics together, we've got guest questions. And again, we can regenerate this if we want to try to get more questions. But I'm going to go ahead and go to the next step. And the next step is really about generating a show flow. And this show flow is designed to be cut and paste and put into a Word doc, a Google doc, whatever you want to do, and modify it to your how you do your show. And at some point, we'll probably have a better templating system, but it's just taken all the data that we've given it in the episode plan, the topics, the guest questions, information about the bios of the host, and it's generating a show flow. So you can see that it's got information on when it was created, talks about the host. So it talks about Mike, talks about Mackenzie, talks about our guest Adam Curry and gives information about him. And then it lists the topics that we've selected, the guest questions, and the AI even gives a flow. So again, you can download this or copy this into a doc, change it up as you desire, and use this as your working points as you're going through the process. Now we're going to assume that the episode, we're done planning, we've printed that out, and then we're going to go back to the next section. Whereas again, I can go back and I can see this plan again. I
It's
can
not
go and
meant
get
to be a script necessarily.
no,
It's just sort of a layout.
Yeah, definitely not designed to be a script. Please don't use it as a script. So if I go back to the AI section, we've got the episode plan. We've modified it as we want. We've used it for our production of our show. The podcast has been recorded, and you're at this point where you're now ready to do the post-production. And you'll notice here that we have a production that is all ready to rock and roll. Now, in some instances, maybe you don't use the planning tool. And if you haven't used the planning tool, you can go ahead and create a mini production here without ever having used the planning tool. But if you have used the planning tool, you can go in ahead and like says view production. It brings it up. Oh, was that the right one? No. What did I do here?
That's
I see. Yeah, let me actually do a new production here. Let me go back. I guess I didn't realize that had been run through before. So I'm just going to go get some information from, sorry, I'm jumping around here. And we'll bring it back. I'll poor planning on my part. So we're going to do a new production. And oh, there it is. That's the one I want to use. Duh. Okay. That's operator error. So we're going to go ahead
We're
and say
all new
use.
at this.
Yeah. We're going to say go ahead and use plan info. And in this episode, it was Todd and Mike, but we did not have Adam. So it may kick this back a little bit, being a little bit confused. So I'm going to go ahead and save the production. And then when we begin production, what it's going to ask me for is the file that I have uploaded already. In this instance, PCI 2024-3-28-A. And as soon as I link to that file, the system now will start creating the transcript. And this can take a little bit, actually, very, very quick. So speaker number one is Todd. It didn't detect a third person. So even though we had Adam in as a list, the transcript tool correctly only identified two speakers. So the host was Todd and the host was Mike. Mike was speaker number two. So let me look and make sure that we've got those set up.
You'll see there's a player right there, so you can, if you can't tell who is the speaker, you can
right. Then you
listening.
can review. And matter of fact, we could probably do that. We will convert that video to audio. So, yep, speaker number one is me. Speaker number two is Mike. And then we'll go ahead and click next. And this is where I believe the true magic of this system really kicks in. It's now looking and going to suggest titles. So we looked through here, unlocking podcast potential, embracing video, transferring YouTube channel, infusing your website to future monetization, innovate your podcast web presence with Blubrry widgets. So I think I'm going to select that one. And if you don't like these entries, again, you can add your own title. But I'm going to say innovate your podcast web presence with Blubrry widgets. That's a pretty good one it's come up with. We're going to go ahead and say next. And now what's going to happen is the AI is going to generate two things. It's going to generate a show summary, and it's also going to generate bullet points of the episode, because we feel some of you will write your own lead in and maybe just need bullet points of what happened during the show, and some of you will need a full show summary. So again, we're doing a lot of actions here when this is being sent out and generating two different pieces of copy from your transcript. And we've specifically told the AI, do not, in under any circumstance, as a matter of fact, we kind of have to we tell it several times, don't go outside of the scope of the transcript. Stay within the scope of the show. So now what we have created is a show narrative. And I've been taking this show narrative and cutting and pasting this right directly into my episode show notes. Now, if you are a Blubrry dashboard customer, every time you click Save Change, we will update a draft episode in the dashboard. So Jamie asks, how's AI do with transcribing when host talks over music bumpers at the beginning of the segments? It does have a bit of a challenge with that, Jamie, when if you're talking over the music, typically what it will do is often not listen to the music. It does okay, but I would suggest testing. If the music is lower than your voice, I think it'll be okay. But intermixing voice and music can be a bit of a challenge. Going back to what I was saying on the show narrative, again, you have the option then of, and see, notice here it says Todd emphasizes, and it talks about, and there's stuff in there from Mike. And so anyway, it really tries to do a good job of putting a summary together. The additional points, for this one, we're unable to generate bullet points. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen.
Me too.
All right. Well, no bullet points. We also have the ability for you to generate episode art. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. And what happens now is it's going to attempt to try to create two pieces of episode art that you would be able to use in your episode. What we recommend that you do is after you pick the art that you like, download it and use a photo editor or image editor to lay in your show name and maybe show episode number. This is running for me at about 85%. I would say that of the episodes I've created, I've gotten some good ones. So immediately the album art on the left, I'm not going to use because it's got misspelled words in it, even though we tell it to not use text. The art on the right, okay, decent. Got an RSS feed. It's got a person. Looks like it's got TV stuff. it kind of, maybe this suits your purpose. And if it doesn't, then you're obviously free to go try ChatGPT or Midjourney to create your episode art. But we give it a chance to create episode art. And if you are a dashboard user, you'll have the ability to select this as your episode art, and it will save it in your draft episode. The next piece is episode chapters. And Mike, how many topics did we talk about on that episode? 5 or 6 topics?
Say 5 or 6, yeah.
So let's just say 6. What is the maximum number of, and maybe we'll do 8 because we did a little bit of an intro, and we'll see what it comes up with. The chapters files is a JSON file that is now picked up by a lot of Podcasting 2.0 podcast apps. So here it actually did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Introduction to VidPod. I'm able to upload an image or do a link. Discovering new widgets for websites. Benefit of the pod roll. Utilizing audience surveys. Monetization through funding. Show credits and live show widgets. Promoting a trailer widget. Exploring vid. So again, this is a pretty accurate walk down of what happened during this episode. And every time, again, I hit save changes, that updates the draft. If you're a Blubrry dashboard customer, it updates the draft episode. Now, if you're a PowerPress user, you can simply come in here, go up in this little corner and copy the text to transfer to your website. So this is the narrative. Of course, we didn't get any bullet points on this one, which is a little weird. We'll send that over to the tech. Created some episode art and episode chapters. Now, what I have found is I was using a whole variety of tools in my own production. I was using ChatGPT, I was using Claude, I was using Midjourney, and I was spending probably 30 to 45 extra minutes generating what we just generated in this step in literally under 10 minutes. Again, the episode art, maybe it doesn't agree with you and maybe you don't want to use it, but if many of you are not creating episode art already, why not throw it in there and it'll be picked up by Apple Podcasts and the apps that support it. So if I go back to the AI section, the highlight clip creator, we're currently in building that. Matter of fact, we had a great demo on it yesterday. We probably spent 2 hours critiquing some of the stuff on our clip generator, but our social promotion tool is ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and we'll show that to you.
I have a question to answer.
Yeah.
So, Jim asked, inserting dynamic ads happens after all of this, correct? And yes, it does happen after all of this.
Yeah, this that section I just worked on is while you're in draft. So again, the audio file is not even technically published and live yet. We use the audio file that you've uploaded. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and do a new production. And we will generate content from episode 388. And this is what's really, it's text clips. We've designed this so that I choose a different project. Yeah. And the second one is, Mike. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. But the social content will have text clips. And these are designed to go on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. These are not audio clips per se. These are purely text that you can take over into any of the platforms you're doing social media with. And I'll show this to you when.
Yeah, somebody asked earlier, I answered it in text, but this is available with our Thrive bundle, but all hosting customers can use it for 5 tries on each section.
On each section. So you can see here, we give you a preview of what the post will. No, that's $10 per show. If you have to add that to Thrive. Yep. It's for each show.
Thrive has a lot of other stuff too. So there's a link.
Yeah. So the Thrive package is pretty robust. And, if you think about what this cost, if you're doing multiple shows on another platform right now, the $10 per show probably is not as cost effective, but the high majority of our customers have a single show. If you're on Pro, then it's again, it's part of the Thrive package on Pro as well. But anyway, the text, you can see there's different text. So struggling with episode planning, our AI tool suggests topics and questions. It gives a variety of different questions. And again, this here is just a preview of what it will potentially look like on Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and on Facebook. And again, we've tried to make sure there's a high number of variety of messages here. If the language prompt has worked correctly, you essentially have a 20 unique different things to use from a clipping standpoint. Again, this is purely text clipping at this point. We'll have the media clipping ready here in about, I'd say, probably about a month. But this part here is the thing that I've been most excited about is the email promo. And you can take this email promo and cut and paste it right into your mailing software and send this out as a promo for the episode. One thing that we've done is you'll notice at the bottom here, and I've seen it do this multiple ways. Sometimes it puts the Apple Podcast, Spotify, Blubrry Podcast directory links in within the text. Sometimes it's at the bottom. Sometimes it puts the social stuff, but you can see all the stuff that was in your show profile has gotten carried over and embedded into your episode email promo here. And again, you can take this, cut and paste this right into, now you notice we don't have a copy button here. And the reason we don't is in order to preserve the links, you have to actually cut it directly from the screen, and then you can mail that or paste that right into like MailChimp or whatever you're using to send out your announcement for your audience. This particular piece, I probably spend 2 to 3 minutes editing this after it's gotten created. I go through and QA it. And of course, this is the thing I'll say about any AI output. It doesn't replace common sense. So make sure that you look at the outputs, make sure it's not run home to mama and said something it shouldn't. Thus far, we've had no complaints of the system really going sideways. But if you do see it going sideways, let us know, because we will definitely look at those outputs to see what happened. I think the main thing here is this has been the number one thing that's helped my show over the last month. I've been podcasting now for 19 plus years. I've been emailing my audience basically the contents of my blog post every episode. Gotten very little traction on that. As soon as I switched to using this, it's made a huge difference. Now, additionally, my show notes are much better now, and it's making a real difference on my show. And again, I think your mileage will vary here, but this has really made a difference from an SEO standpoint, not just the email promo. That's obviously my listeners saying your emails are fun. I'm stopping and reading them because they know it's AI generated and they kind of see what kind of goofy take the AI has done. Here it says, "Hey there, fellow podcast aficionados. It's your friendly podcast mentor diving right back into your inbox." So again, we tried to. Here's one thing I will be honest with you about. This was the hardest part of this whole development, was getting this email not to sound too over the top.
I would have
I
loved
guess
to
that,
have had a microphone in the room when you were doing that.
yeah, there was choice words being said as the results were. And so I probably worked on this prompt for probably 8 hours, at least 150 attempts to kind of get it where I wanted and calmed it down, and not, because we've all seen some of the AI outputs have been, what's the better word? I don't want to say flowery, maybe,
Yeah.
kind of,
No.
a little bit, it's a little bit over too hyped. And I really wanted this to go and have a tenor that your audience already knows you. So we don't have to hype the show, because we just want to inform them of the episode. And I think that we've done a good job with this. So again, Every one of you as a hosting customer can come and use any one of these tools. I find myself using the podcast production tool the most. I found myself using the social production and getting the email. I'm really looking forward to our highlight clip creation. If any of you are currently using third-party tools to create clips, this is going to be a as probably robust of anything that you're currently using. Again,
Jim
this is
asked if
coming.
it was if this integrated with Headliner. No, it doesn't. Blubrry does integrate with Headliner.
Yeah.
But
Now, the highlight clip creation tool will have the ability to export the headliner, but with the highlight clip creation, we're replacing headliner. You're
yeah,
not going to need headliner after this is done. So,
that'll save you some money.
yeah. Or again, we'll have some templates for you in the highlight clip creation. And if you say, that's not good enough, I will still want to use headliner, we'll have the ability for you to export and be able to take that media that you've clipped straight into headliner. So that will be one of the options on the clip creation tool. Or you can stay right in our clip creation tool, create your clips. We've got a really robust. This is probably the reason that this is not ready. It's because we really worked on this to make this a robust tool. So between the episode podcast production and the highlight clip creator, those were the two hardest pieces. And if we've missed something, if you use this tool and you come to us said, all right, there's a plan. Well, how come you're not providing us this? Let us know.
Yeah.
Because we came up with this episode planner and everything else so far based on feedback from all of you. And you're right, Jim. This all happens before publishing. And again, if you are a Blubrry dashboard user, we will create a draft episode. Now, we publish through PowerPress here, but what will end up happening is you'll come over here to episodes and there will be an AI draft. If you're a dashboard user, all you'll have to do is to go into that directly. Of course, we can't edit here because this is a PowerPress user. All you have to do is go in there, cross check everything that you've transferred over. We'll put the episode art in. We'll link the transcript. We'll put the chapters file in. We'll have dumped the summary into it. We've already preloaded the title, and all you have to do is add some hyperlinks if you want in your summary and hit publish, and you're done. So, from my perspective, what I have found thus far is I've never edited my show. So I'm unique in that nature. It would take me from the time I stop hitting record to the time I publish would take about 30 minutes because I do both audio and video. Now, when I was using AI tools without the Blubrry Pi and using a variety of tools, it took my production time up to like an hour 15. I'm now actually saving time. My production time now is from the time I've uploaded the file to I've published is about 15 to 20 minutes. So it's really improved my efficiency, and I feel giving me a better product. And again, way we did this is we did our own integration. So if there's ever comes a point with the large language model that we're on, we don't like anymore, and there's a better model, we built this so that we can just flip a switch. Now, obviously, we do a couple of weeks worth of testing on a new model, but we can move to a new model as easy as pie. We haven't locked ourselves into a platform. We prefer not to say which model we're using, but I will say it's a very popular modern model that everyone is familiar with. But there are models coming out now that are looking better than this model we're using. So, and also as tokens, and what tokens are is the amount of data we can submit and get back at one time. No, we're not using Grok. I think what ultimately you'll see is over time this will get better. And the best thing is we're using the dumbest AI that we'll ever use. And really, this is not truly AI, it's just a large language model integration with smart prompting. The transcript product is incredible that we've switched to. And matter of fact, we're bringing a whole platform onto that new transcript platform. We're really excited about this. I guess we're open to questions, thoughts.
Just
What?
raise your hand and I can allow you to speak if you want.
So one thing is, one thing that we just want everyone to know again is we're so early days on this. We did the most amount of testing that we've ever done in any product we've ever released at the company. I will say that much. So I want to encourage each of you, if you're not a Thrive user, don't worry. You've got 5 tries on each of these sections on both the planning, production, and social production. When we have the highlight creation ready, we will turn that on for you as well to do 5 productions. And I think you'll get a good handle on what it can and cannot do. We always, and I will caution again, any AI output needs to be validated and QA'd. It's not a replacement for common sense. So please make sure that you've edited anything that's come out, and we hope it doesn't run home to mama and send, basically say something it shouldn't. And if it does, we definitely want to use. Now, Jim, if you still get as a pro user, you still get the 5 free trials, even if you're not on Thrive, but you would have to add Thrive to get Pi. It comes as part of the package. And for those of you that are not familiar with what Thrive allows you to have, all right. So with the Thrive bundle, you get the Podcast AI Assistant, you get pre-roll dynamic ad insertion, you get episode comparison and stats up to 5 episodes versus 3. You get listener and subscriber tracking and stats. You actually get the average daily play statistic. It's a new statistics and stats. You get quick links, which is everyone gets quick links, but you get an enhanced quick links with additional external hyperlinks, V for V, donation analytics. And you also in stats get your Apple Podcast reviews. So again, this is a bundle from Thrive. And again, services/Thrive-bundle. And list everything that we provide you in the Thrive bundle for an additional $10 a month. I think you're going to find that the AI piece alone is likely worth the price of entry here. So consider adding Thrive after you get done. And again, we want to hear your feedback. Yes, Jim, it's active now on Thrive enabled podcasts, and it's also available for any shows that have not got Thrive enabled during the free trial month. And you can see that it's available via the menu item on the left-hand column. It says Pi, episode planning, episode production, and special social content production. If you don't see that in your menu system, please let us know, and we'll look into it. So Debbie, by the way, Debbie, thank you for your question. Any additional questions by the folks? If you guys want to see one of the outputs, I'll show you my last episode that I produced last night. So as you can see in the player, you see those hash marks that are in the player. Those are the actual chapter markers. So in the player now, when people come to the website, they can actually physically see the chapters, or they can use the right and left button to jump to the different chapters, as well as the output. This is the output from Blubrry Pi yesterday. The 2 different sections here. This is the bullet list that I was actually, because we didn't see bullets when we did the test. These are the bullet points these did take some editing, but again, there is a closed caption that's set up because we have a transcript that's with this. That's all embedded in the RSS feed and supporting all the Podcasting 2.0 apps, as well as feeding Apple Podcasts, where I decided I wanted my transcripts used versus theirs. David asks, does Fountain recognize the chapters created this way or created in PowerPress? Yes, any of the chapter files that are created this way or in PowerPress are honored by any of the Podcasting 2 apps that support chapters. It's a 100% compliant JSON file. And that is episode art that the AI created last night. And I just wrote in the Geek News Central The one on the the audio player specifically, not the video player. The video player, I created that with ChatGPT separately to get a 16:9 image.
What's cool in the production section, if you go to the transcript, you can download VTT, SRT, and text. So if you want to use that in another way, you also can do that.
David, I use PowerPress, so basically within the Blubrry dashboard, currently is the only place that you can use the AI tool. That will likely change in the future, but you're able to, like I said, I just cut and paste the results from the AI right into the system. For example, for the narrative, I just go up here and copy, and I copy that directly into my episode post. Obviously, I do a little bit of editing. Same thing with the bullet points. We didn't get bullet points on this episode. The art, download it and make any edits I want and upload that in PowerPress. Chapter files, I just copy this file right here, and I drop that into the chapters link. Any
that
edits
link will
you do.
stay live as well, so you can actually link to it on blubrry.com. Same thing with the transcript. If you click on transcript, there's a way to download the file, and there's also a way to link to it.
Now, one thing I will say is if you copy this into PowerPress in the advanced features and you edit the file in PowerPress, it will actually update in here. So those are cross-linked. So any edits you make in PowerPress will actually, if you come back in here, will reflect as well. So those are invariably linked together. This file name will not change when you publish the episode. What we really wanted to do was about helping podcasters be more productive within our own tools and have a cleaner workflow and have a cleaner output. For years and years and years and years, I've really struggled and often bang my head against the wall when I read a podcaster's show notes. There'll be like 2 or 3 sentences of what someone talked about for a whole hour. And in the world we live in today, the metadata that I showed you on my previous episode that I recorded this was on April 1st for Geek News Central. Google just eats this up. The goal here is to be able to find people are searching for topics, and it's about a 50-50 chance whether or not I rank in the first 4 or 5 results on Google. But this additional metadata that we're providing is really rich. Your listeners are not going to come read this. This is not for listeners. This is pure, and some might, but I always said that you record for your audience, you write for Google. And this is what it really is about giving richer metadata. Thank everyone for attending. We definitely appreciate it.